Hi folks, this is all the fruit. I'm on my farm and today I want to talk to you about a very underappreciated little fruit, about the cherry plum. Look at it. My cherry plums are loaded this year, but the wood is much tougher than in the domestic plums, so I don't have broken branches yet. Almost all my trees are loaded, except for this big tree down there. It's a cherry plum, but not a single fruit. So the cherry plums, who planted them? Well, the answer is somebody and nobody. This year is probably feral, probably a bird planted it. But if you look at those two, you will realize that somebody actually planted a grafted blue plum. Here it is. And it was grafted, very obviously, on a cherry plum rootstock. And now, because I haven't cut back the cherry plum rootstock in years, it is growing and fruiting. Yeah, very vigorous stuff. So if you don't cut back those cherry plum rootstocks, they will basically take over the tree. They will outcompete the graft, and finally all the nutrients will go to the cherry plum rootstock. Here are a couple more different plums. Those down here, those cherry plums down here, they will get bright red once they are ripe. Here, an earlier variety, bright yellow. Here, another one, more or less purple. And here another one, very early and pretty dark purple, almost blue. And as you can see, those are all rootstocks from trees which have died years ago, from blue plum trees. Here there is still the stump of the blue plum tree. The graft has died back, and the rootstock has survived. Here a grafted blue plum, where the rootstock actually never resprouted. So this is just the graft surviving, but in the other trees it's just the rootstock. So what is so special about those little cherry plums? I mean, nobody has planted a cherry plum tree here. They just used this rootstock, and some of the trees are feral. Well, there are a lot of things special about the cherry plum. Actually, I think it's the most underappreciated plum ever. Well, first is the cherry plum is the mother of all the plums. Let's maybe collect a couple different ones. Maybe they look more interesting when they are together in my hand. So the cherry plum is the mother, or maybe the father of all plums. Well, the other parent is the blackthorn. So all plums, the species Prunus domestica, actually hybrids between those little cherry plums and the blackthorn, which is quite funny. Cherry plums and blackthorn, they flower at the same time in March or sometimes April, but the cherry plums are ripe from June and a couple months after that, while the blackthorn doesn't basically get ripe before November. But still they manage to hybridize, and all the domestic plum varieties are a result of this hybridization. So one thing to be grateful for. The other one, since they are so vigorous, of course, they are being used as rootstock. It's still the basic rootstock for plums. So everywhere you have an old plum plantation, you will basically also find cherry plums from the rootstock. The third thing is, well, in some years, spring is not so warm. Either there is a lot of frost or a lot of rain. And all the other fruit trees, they fail to set fruit. This year, as you can see, lots of apples. I showed you lots of blue plums, lots of cherries. But in some years, no apples, no blue plums, almost no cherries. But the cherry plums, they will have a ton of fruit each year, no matter the weather. Horribly dry, horribly cold, horribly wet, they don't care. The flowers survive, the fruit survive. They are the most reliable source of plums. And still almost nobody is picking them. I don't know why. You don't need to care for them. They are here every year. They taste good, but nobody really appreciates them. Even I tend to try to eat a lot of other plum varieties, but that's because I like diversity. I also eat a lot of cherry plums. And they are really tasty. Also, there is a big variety in the flavors. Like those small, dark ones. They are usually very flavorful. Those yellow ones from my tree. Still a bit sour, not much flavor, but when they get ripe they will be really sweet. Yellow ones often don't have so much flavor. And those light purple ones, well, they have quite a nice sweet taste, but also not so much flavor. Yeah. So for food, they are not being used a lot. If you pick them really ripe, the shelf life is not so long. Well, the Turks, they like to pick them green and sell them because, well, they like green fruits, they like early fruit, and other plum species or varieties, they don't taste well while still green. But the cherry plums, you can also eat them in the green state. Also, another important thing you can do with cherry plums, you can make plum brandy or slivovitz, or what is called rakia in Bulgaria. Just look at this huge amount of sweet, juicy fruit. If you don't like to eat them, yeah, just distill them and, yeah, have some plum brandy. Actually, the brandy from those plums is not considered the best quality, but that's probably just because they are so easy to grow. Yeah. So folks, I hope you didn't mind me praising those little plums so much. They are some of my favorite little plums. You can find them pretty much everywhere in Europe, from the sub-Mediterranean to the montane climates. Yeah, they are very reliable. They are fruiting every year. They are fruiting in any weather conditions. You cannot do anything wrong with those little cherry plums. So if you find a feral tree or a rootstock tree or an ornamental tree somewhere, don't hesitate to try them, as long as they are not private. Yeah. And write me in the comments if you like the taste of the cherry plums and if you have your particular favorite cherry plum variety. So folks, this was the cherry plum. Stay tuned for a lot more fruit videos from the parks and gardens of Germany. And don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe.